Technology, Kharagpur. My colleague, Meena Pal, who heads up India Studies, and also my colleague, Rich Collins, who has been instrumental in helping support our India initiatives. I'm Susan Carmani, the Associate Dean of International and Comparative Legal Studies, and it is a great honor to welcome you to our law school to this important event. I would like to take a few minutes and give you a background into how our law school got interested in India and the kind of work that we're involved in, and then we'll hear from the president of the university, President Stephen Knapp, and also we will hear from Dave Gupta, who has been so generous in his support of our initiative, as well as hear from Leah Powell to talk a bit about what is going on currently with our outreach to India. In 2002, 2003, our graduate, Raj Dave, and Raj, I'm just going to ask you to stand up because I really think everybody needs to see you. Raj is a graduate of this law school, but he's also a graduate of the Indian Institute of Technology, Kharagpur. He's an engineer. He also has a PhD, and he came to us and he said, I have an idea, and this is my idea, that this law school, the George Washington University Law School, has the premier program in the world in intellectual property law, and particularly in patents. And we know a lot of people that are involved in innovations and technology, and we know that in India there are people there who are interested in taking products to market, to be inventors. And what can we do about this? And why don't we talk to our friends, because we happen to have a lot of friends, and gather them and take them to India every year, our American friends, to meet our Indian friends and help educate on intellectual property law. And Raj set forth this proposal to my colleague, Professor Marty Edelman, who has been going to India for many years and whose dearest friend is the great Indian lawyer Ram Jethmalani. And Marty said, of course we will do that. He also talked to now the Chief Judge of the Federal Circuit Court of Appeals, Judge Rader, who said, if there is a need to educate, I will go. And he also talked to me. And in 1982, I made my first trip to India, a very different India that I went back to in 2002 when I first went with Professor Edelman and Judge Rader. And I said, of course, I would love to help support this initiative. And as a result of that, every year we have organized a trip to India, working with a variety of institutions in India, including principally the Confederation of Indian Industry, at the outset, to host an intellectual property law summit. In 2005, on this trip, Raj had been talking to his colleagues and friends at the Indian Institute of Technology in Kharagpur, and there was a sense that perhaps that school would be committed to building a law faculty. And as a matter of fact, the word is that Bing Gupta was prepared to help support the law faculty, as he had helped support the School of Management, the Bing Gupta School of Management there on the campus at the Indian Institute of Technology, Kharagpur. And the dean at the time, Fred Lawrence, was very intrigued by this initiative. The idea was to take the brilliant scientists from India, train them as lawyers, and help build capacity for intellectual property law. And this was a conversation that was probably held around a couple of tables. We came into it midstream, and Dean Lawrence said, what can we do to help? And within a year, the IIT Kharagpur had started a law school, the Rajiv Gandhi School of Intellectual Property Law. And the George Washington University Law School was there to provide administrative support. And so what we did at the outset was that we worked with the consultant that the IIT Kharagpur had hired, the former dean of the Faculty of Law at the National Law School, Bangalore, Dean Mitra, a very distinguished lawyer and law professor in his own right, who managed to marshal the proposal through the Bar Council of India. And then we started to make regular trips to Kharagpur. And for me, this is very important because my first trip to India was to Calcutta, and now Kolkata, as they say. But I have very dear friends in Calcutta, and also for those not that familiar with Calcutta, it has an old Armenian community, and I'm Armenian. And I enjoyed finding the Armenian church there and searching out for Armenians that had been living in Calcutta for the last 400 years. And I made the journey from Calcutta to Kharagpur, my first journey, thanks to the officials at the Indian Institute of Technology. And upon crossing the rail, everybody knows at Kharagpur how you got to cross the rail, and then you are on the campus. You are there amidst probably the smartest people on the face of this earth in terms of creating technology. And I say that, it's true though, it's true. Because as you know, if you don't get into the IIT and you were just not on the edge of it, you're a shoo-in for Caltech or for MIT, okay? And so in 2006, the George Washington University Law School signed with the Indian Institute of Technology a technical collaboration agreement. That agreement was signed at one of our intellectual property law summits, and we committed at that time to help the new law school, the Rajiv Gandhi School of Intellectual Property Law, with administration, as well as helping with the library, and also to provide faculty lectures. The agreement was amended a few years ago to also to have student exchanges. And so we were very fortunate last spring, thanks to Vin's support, we were able to send some of the GW Law students to Kharagpur, and they had a wonderful time, and some of our students who went there, and they just happened to be there for Holi. And we have the photos of Holi. I actually have some photos, Vin, here for you, but we have the Holi photos, and it was our honor to be able to invite them back to the George Washington University Law School, and to have the students from the Indian Institute of Technology, Rajiv Gandhi School of Intellectual Property Law with us here for the past 2 weeks. I would like, if we could, first to introduce the students, if y'all